truly, we don't control where people take their money.
Yeah.
If they have the documents, we'll give them the money. Whatever that they do with it, we don't know. We have no control.
Hello, I'm Tabisile Sitaba, Babes with Death Care. Welcome to yet another exciting episode where we unpack all there is to the death care value chain. Today, I have a very special guest. He'll introduce himself. He is a phenomenon. He's been doing great things in this industry. A lot of you know him, but I think this is where you get to really, really know him. Mr. Mphahlele, how are you?
Hi, madam. Hi, madam. My name is Ratau Mphahlele. I work for the company called Baroka Funerals. We are based in Pretoria, but we do bury nationwide.
Fantastic. I like how you say I work for. And yet you're the big guy. You own the company.
I work there.
And it's true. It's true. One of the most inspiring things about you is I'm not sure if how many people have had the opportunity to come to your offices. I personally thought this is such a huge company. This guy is not even worried about what's happening here. But you are hands-on, still running the business today.
Yeah. I work there. As I said, I work there. One of the biggest mistakes that we do as black businesses is that we forget that this is our bread and butter. When we start businesses, we treat them like how do they put it? Mzolo. No, it is a true business.
Yeah.
People wake up and go to ShopRite every day.
Yes.
Without any failure. Even us as black people, we just need to learn that and say, let's not treat it as umzolo. Let it be a job. And you get there and work. Get there every time in the morning, close when everybody closes, and you'll definitely one day see the fruits of that.
Oh, we are seeing it through you.
Wow.
I think one of the questions, so the reason why we wanted to have this engagement with you is to really unpack the funeral business. Because like I said, there's so many misconceptions online. People really don't understand a lot. Number one, they don't understand how it works. They don't understand why the pricing, because every time you speak about funerals, the first thing you hear is, why are funerals so expensive? And I think to kick off that conversation, I want to ask you, what is a funeral home and what role does it play in the funeral arrangement space?
Yeah, a funeral home, it's a place where somebody has a death. We would always be there to take care of the body. And it is true, a lot of people, when they look at us, they say, we are overcharging. It's not about the overcharging. It's all about the experience that you get. The way we will give your people or your beloved a dignified farewell. Yes, you can get it anyway. I think there are a lot of funeral parlors out there, briefcase funeral parlors. You can get there, you can get a service, and you can feel the pain after that.
True.
But what we do, and truly, you'll get one coffin in this funeral parlor selling it for 5 rand, and the same coffin in the next funeral parlor selling it for 50 rand. Truly, it's not about the price of the coffin. It's about the experience and the service that they give you. Yes. And I think that's what determines the price. If you can look at the coffin, definitely, we can give you the coffin. What would you do with the coffin?
True.
But the experience that we give you, the way would help you for you to be able to feel better is the type of funeral or the funeral parlor you choose. As I'm saying, a lot of time, and a thing about funeral parlor is that when we do a funeral, we cannot do a mistake.
True.
Because I can't come next week and say, when you do whole pega, selling food, today nganaka pega botsa, and I can always correct it the next day.
It's
but
true.
with a funeral parlor, it's
You
just
don't
one.
have the luxury.
You have to do it once and do it right. Because I can't come next week, days where babes and come and say, let's redo your father's funeral.
Absolutely not.
That is that. So that is that. Yes, they are right in talking about the prices, but prices are not the same because the experience won't be the same. Thank you.
True. And I like the fact that you mentioned the experience because, funny enough, most of the people that complain about funerals being expensive are the very ones that actually enjoy spending this amount of money. People would complain and say, why is it 30,000? But let them get a bereavement in their family.
Yeah, I always say one thing about funeral, it's such an irrational thing. And I work in the funeral space. When my mother passed on, me knowing what a funeral is, I always said, no, It's going to be a simple funeral and all that. But at that time, things change.
True.
It's your mother. You know, your parents, some of us who believe in Madlozi,
Yes.
who believe in ancestors, on that day, when your mother goes to
rest.
buried, it's Ascension Day.
True.
Truly, you don't take your mother to your ancestors in a different way and expect your mother to take care of you beyond that, you know. So truly, it has to be dignified. It has to be decent.
So it's an honor, basically, and there cannot be a price attached to honoring someone.
Exactly. And sometimes people who don't know, they will always say, no, whites do this, white do a... Truly, they do a serious funeral. Usually they talk about the pine coffin. Pine is an expensive
Coffin. Yeah.
Yes, and when they see it, looking at it, it looks so easy. It looks so simple, but the costs too are still high.
Very true, very true. Now, I think you picked up on something that I wanted to speak about. So people say that they're looking for alternative ways of, having cheaper send-offs.
Yeah.
And in the previous years, it wasn't so fashionable. Would you say there's been a rate or growth in terms of cremations instead of burial, particularly in the Black communities?
Yes, we are having blacks cremating now, but not a lot, because it's still, we still believe that one day we have to wake up.
Yeah.
And how do you wake up? Do you wake up as ash? One day you have to talk to your ancestors. And I think, yes, there are, those that believe in cremation, but a lot still believe they need
In
to
the
do
burial.
a funeral. Yeah.
Makes sense. But one of the key things that I want to speak to is, how do we know we can trust this funeral home? How do we vet it? How do we know that, they're in business? They're not like those January colleges. We pay money when it's time to attend classes. They are nowhere to be found.
Yeah. There are basic things that are there
Yes.
that you need to check. As a funeral parlor, one of the things that you are supposed to do is we collect people's money.
Yes.
And if we collect people's money, we need to be a registered financial services provider.
Yes.
And that you can check with FISCA anytime. Financial authorities, you can check that with FISCA. Number two, a funeral parlor needs to have storage. Because when we have bodies, we need to put them in a cold room.
They're not going to like you for this one.
Yes, and that is very true.
Yeah.
And you need to have what we call a COC.
Yes.
The municipality need to come there, check your facilities and approve it for you to can keep people in there. And those are the very basic people. A lot of, as I'm saying, funeral parlor is such an easy thing to open. People get there, register a company, Mphahlele Funeral Parlor, and they start collecting people's money. And as human beings, we just even don't check. We
yes.
believe that you realize on the day of funeral, when you're looking for somebody, he's nowhere to be found and all that. And it does keep stress, and we end up as funeral parlor being looked as bad people.
True.
It is important. I know we are scared of death, but it is important to do your due diligence on where you pay your money.
Absolutely. So then you would say that one of the things that we need to ask is, of course, if they are underwritten by one of these big underwriters.
Okay, and that's very critical. Another thing that is important is that as I collect your money, I need to put it with an underwriter.
Yes.
And at all times, a funeral parlor is expected to have an underwriter, where at the time of death, they need to get the money and be able. If I don't have an underwriter, that means I need to put my money in my pocket. And sometimes it's never safe in my pocket,
Of course.
So the safest way is, one, as I said, a funeral parlor need to be registered financial services provider. Number two, a funeral parlor need to be an underwritten. They need to underwrite your money. Underwriting is that they need to take portion of the money, take it to the insurance business,
Yes.
Insurance invests in everything.
But, and I'm glad you touched on that, because there is a lot of commotion around this underwriting thing in South Africa, where even the small funeral homes keep on changing their underwriters all the time. Now, the policyholders get to a place where they are told that their waiting period has to start afresh. Is there such a thing? When a funeral home changes an underwriter, how does that affect the customer?
Yeah. When a funeral parlor changes an underwriter, there is no waiting period. I mean, even today, if there is funeral A that is underwritten and that person moves to Baroka,
Yes.
as long as that person has done his 6 months waiting period, when he comes to Baroka, he doesn't have a waiting period.
Oh.
So it is not true that when you move underwriters, you have to have a waiting period.
Inconvenience the customer.
There is no way that a customer is inconvenienced. At all times when I move underwriters, there is no waiting period into the next underwriter as long as that person has finished his 6 months waiting period.
Thank you for giving us that clarity. And I hope you viewers got the clear definition and explanation, because I got a lot of these questions and inquiries on TikTok regarding this particular matter, because people have had this problem where funeral homes change their underwriters and then they're left inconvenienced. And it's unfortunate that they would change and then the customer has to claim. Now it becomes a customer's problem to say, well, we changed underwriters, you're going to have to wait.
Yeah, and as I'm saying, that is very critical. And as I said, it is important to work with a funeral parlor that is registered with financial services.
Yes.
Number 2, a funeral parlor that is underwritten. Okay? And another thing that usually comes as a question is always that if your underwriter is underwriter A, and I have a private policy with that particular underwriter, will it affect my
Yes, that's the question I was coming to.
Yeah, the critical point is that we are used as distribution channels.
Okay.
So if underwriter A is underwritten Baroka,
yes,
and you are using that thing, so you always get your money because the distribution channel is different.
It's different.
Yeah, when I say distribution channel, is that where you have bought your product.
Yes.
I would have a cap as a distribution channel. Maybe an underwriter says to me, your cap in there is 100,000.
Yes.
So I can have a cap as a distribution channel up to 100,000. And funeral parlor B has a cap of 100,000. So you are able to claim 100,000 from me and 100,000 from funeral parlor B and 100,000 from the underwriter itself. As long as you haven't reached the maximum point.
Yes.
At a particular distribution channel. I don't know if that makes sense.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it leads to my next question then, which is, and maybe we're not interpreting it correctly.
Yeah.
The Insurance Act says that there is 100,000 per life per underwriter. So you're saying that, okay, let me rephrase. So in what I've just said, it would mean that if I go to an insurer A, which is not a funeral home, and an insurer B, which is under the same underwriter, right? I would get 100,000. But if I go through a funeral home and that one insurer, I would get my 200,000.
Yes, you would get your 200,000, because the issue is the maximum, as I'm saying, they would cap it at whatever they cap it. But the channel, the distribution channel, would be the one that is put on that particular cap. Okay?
Makes sense.
Yes, so you can have 5 of them. As long as the distribution channel is different, then you will get your money. The issue is if you come to Baroka and if we end up by mistake having put you in 120, your sister comes to Baroka, your brother, and we end up at 120, the distribution channel can only pay up to 100,000.
Yes, I truly understand that. Now, my question becomes then that issue of, so now you've got this 100K that you're receiving from the funeral home. You've got this 100K that you're receiving from an insurer. So all 4 of you as siblings would still need to get 100K. It can't go over. So meaning that if I insure my mom, at Baroka for 100K, my sister cannot come and insure my mom for 100K as well.
For 100K.
Yes,
You
because
can-
the cap
yeah,
is...
the cap. We are using 100K as a cap
Yes.
now, but it might be even low. Okay, but all that I'm saying, the distribution channel
is the one that differs.
is the one that different. So your sister can get, let's say, and maybe when I use symbols, sorry, and Old Mutual will have to pay you again. Let's use Old Mutual as an example.
Okay.
Yeah, if your sister has a policy with Old Mutual for 100,000,
Yes.
and you have a policy with Baroka, maybe Baroka is underwriting, or maybe let's use a practical example,
Yes.
RMA.
Yes.
If your sister has a policy with RMA for your mother of 100,000,
Yes.
and Baroka is underwritten by RMA
Yes.
for 100, it's underwritten by RMA, and you have a policy with us for 100,000, the two will be paid because
Yes.
those are the two different
Underwriters.
distribution. No, it's the same underwriter.
Oh,
I'm saying
distribution
it's-
channels.
Yeah, distribution channels.
Makes so much sense. Now, you alluded to the fact that people can actually go to different channels, but would it not then cause a confusion if I now go to a Baroka and another funeral home? Because I understand that at a time where the departed loved one has passed on, and we know that this person is covered by Baroka, but my little sister who's at home doesn't know, calls another funeral home, isn't that going to cause a clash somewhere, somehow?
It does create a problem because there is a word called family problems. You can't avoid it. So families sometimes don't agree.
Yes.
And you never know if babes have signed mama somewhere.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it.
Exactly.
If we were able to talk about it, it would have been easy. So
True.
yes, that's the biggest problem that we have. If mama has 5 kids,
Yes.
you find that 5 kids don't talk to each other about mama.
Exactly.
All of them sign them at different funeral parlors. And mama can only be buried by one funeral parlor.
Yes.
So now you can
Yes.
see the fight after that. 5 funeral parlors having to deal with mama's death.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it depends on who is in charge.
Yeah.
Sometimes mama had to end up moving to 5 funeral parlors. This way, today they agree, and the next day, and the next day, and they find that, and as if that is not enough, then they reach to the 5th one.
Yeah.
Just before they realize, no, they made a mistake, and take them to the first one again. So it does happen. It does happen. I've seen it many a times.
It's very true. And I think that's the other point I wanted to get to, that I think that customers don't realize how much support funeral homes have to give to not just the care of their departed loved one, but also the family itself, because then there are a lot of squabbles, there's a lot of conflict. And as a funeral home, you are expected to provide that service, but now you're listening to 50 different voices. How do you manage such situations?
It is one, and with us having to do about 30 funerals a week,
Sure.
and you can imagine each family having
Different squabbles.
different squabbles. It is tough, and we are able to do it. It's tough, but we are able to do it.
And I think my next question is, how do you do it? Simply because there was a time and we were communicating, and I think you were going through a bereavement of a friend, and yet you are there still organizing another funeral. And I think that people get to a point where they don't realize, Uguti, we are also human.
Yes.
We also have things that we or challenges that we are dealing with. But at the very same time, we still need to present 100%. You could lose, for example, I could lose my mom today, but I can't drop the ball, because when a family comes, I need to be there, no matter how painful it is for me with my own bereavement. So how do you do that?
Yeah, it's sometimes you just, and these are the type of jobs we choose. Okay, like a doctor. When somebody pass on, when somebody is sick, you need to do that, let alone your problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, even us. If I can get into a point where, my family is a lot. And if every week one of them dies, then I'll have no business, because I'll have to be taking care of them. So I just really need to be able to realize that I've chosen this job, even when I have a funeral at home. Each job I have to go on. The show has to go on, and that's a sad part about it. And I can't come with a face that now that my mother has passed on, then Baroka has to stop. Baroka has promised people service. And there was no way that says, you will only get service on condition my mother is still alive.
Ish.
If my mother passed on today,
The show goes
the
on.
show has to go on. And that's the tough part about it, but the show has to go on. And I cannot give a bad service just because my mother has
Has
passed
passed
on.
on.
Okay?
Sure.
So that's the crux of the whole thing.
That is quite profound, and I hope you do get the realities of what we have to deal with, because another thing is, I of course you can see how deeper he's looking, because the other thing that I find is that when I present myself and talk about what I do, that death, what do you have to do with it? You don't look like death care, and I'm thinking, how do people in death care supposed to look like?
Yeah, we're supposed to look like my mice, in the we are supposed to be
Looking like Undertaker.
scary, like Undertaker, like, yeah. So, but it has changed. It has changed. We human beings. Somebody has to do the job.
True.
Yeah, somebody has to do the job. I mean, typical, a plumber has to deal with that.
Oh my goodness, what an example.
Yeah, sorry. He has to do with that. If it's not done, then we'll have a problem. Can you imagine if the death care service wasn't there? There would be bodies lying around. I mean, you could see it in COVID.
It was chaotic.
Hell. It was chaotic.
It was chaotic.
But thanks to my colleagues, thanks to the guys out there who are running Funeral Palace, we managed.
And truly, maybe this is one of the, those special times where we really need to honor what you do. If funeral service providers were not holding the show during COVID, I don't know what would have happened. The volumes were going insane, the capacity, the storage. And to make it even worse, to think that it was so hard for funeral service providers to actually get that special letter from the government at level 5 to say, you need to move around. And you need to be providing this core service because people are passing on. And at the same time, you guys are not giving that recognition to say...
Yes, and that's very true. As I'm saying, today, being part of the team, I would like to thank them, each one of them in the funeral space, to say, guys, you really have outdone yourself. If it wasn't because of you, sometimes you are not recognized.
True.
But if it wasn't because of you,
True.
It could have been chaotic. We could have had to use mass graves and put everybody in there. But you guys came to the show and did it. And thank you for being there. I can say thank you to you guys because I know what you went through.
Absolutely.
Others might have not been able to see that. And truly, they were going through tough times.
It was tough.
They might
families.
not have, as I'm saying, families.
They were afraid of their own families.
Yeah, exactly. So I can say to them, to the guys who were there during COVID, Funeral Palace, they truly have managed to
carry the show.
And thank you for that.
Absolutely. And then one of the other things I want to speak to is, this might be quite controversial, and do let me know if you're comfortable in answering this question. There's a lot of fight around the claims process with the BI, with the Home Affairs death certificates. What actual documents do you need from a person to be able to claim from you?
Okay. It is.
And who has a right maybe to claim?
As I said, there's one of the things that happens, and there is a fight between underwriters and Funeral Palace. Underwriters a lot of times think that Funeral Palace are tsotsis. They're crooks. Okay? But with Funeral Palace, it's so simple. For me to end up claiming, I need to be having a body.
Yes.
I can prove it to you.
Yes.
And during COVID, they thought, and there's nobody who has reported that we have been killing people as underwriter, as Funeral Palace, unless the lady, what's that lady again, who was killing families to claim?
Oh, Rosemary.
Yeah, Rosemary and the new one. Yeah, those are the people. So in terms of us claiming, it's such an easy thing. You need to have a notice of death, which is a BI 1663. Okay?
Yes.
You, the person who's supposed to claim, is the person who has a policy either with a funeral parlor or with an underwriter,
Yes.
depending where they are claiming. Okay? And again, what is critical? If I'm underwritten, a lot of people think that we underwrite their people with high money and then take the money. No, if you are underwritten, you have even the right to go direct to an underwriter and claim the money. You will get the money that we have written on the policies. So there is no way that we're making money out of that. That money, when we get it, usually we use it for a funeral.
Yes.
If we are not using it for the funeral, we give it to you.
Yes.
Going back to that, as I said, it's a BI 1663 that is needed.
And where do they get it from?
The BI 1663, you'll always, that's a notice of death.
Yes.
You'll always get it from the funeral parlor.
Okay.
Who's doing the funeral. The funeral parlor who has a body. That is a BI 1663. Number 2, underwriters sometimes look for a burial order.
Yes.
A burial order is the one that says the person will be buried at when.
Yes.
Okay? That is given by Home Affairs again.
Yes.
Okay? And then they'll need a certified copy of the claimant. They'll need a certified copy of the deceased, which you will get it from the underwriter anyway.
Yes.
Not from the underwriter, from the mortuary.
Yes.
And what else? I think those are the documents, unless and another thing they would need, if it's a claim, they will need a proof of bank.
Yes.
So
yes. So that they can pay.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you now a very tricky question.
Yes.
Okay, well, it might be tricky on my end.
Was that
not your
one
end.
controversial?
No.
I'm now waiting for the tricky one, because if that one was controversial.
I'm building. So the question is, so you've explained that it would be the person that has insured, but we do know that time and again, people have proven that they don't use funeral cover or funeral insurance for what it is for. People want to take the money and not bury anybody.
Yeah.
So what happens when family members insure people with the intention of not even contributing a cent, and then they come to you, right? Because they've got that policy with you or to whatever insurer, but now the family does not give them the BI certificate, the one that was there at pickup point, the point of contact, and says, no, I'm not going to give it because I know the deal. I know you're not going to take out any money. You just want to enrich yourself. So how do you deal with those situations where, because apparently some funeral homes sell the BI certificates when the family has clearly stated that I don't want this person accessing the money?
Yeah, that's simple. As I said, we need a BI, and we'll always give it to the relevant, to the right person. So what they do, if somebody comes to me and say he wants to come claim he doesn't have a BI, those are the prerequisites. If you don't have, you are not going to be able to claim. Okay? I can even refer you to the underwriter. You can go claim with them without your BI. If you survive it, that's your luck. Number 2, truly, we don't control where people take their money.
Yeah.
If they have the documents, we'll give them the money. Whatever that they do with it, we don't know. We have no control.
So in essence, from what I get,
the third one,
yes,
we don't sell BIs.
Yes,
we don't sell BIs at Baroka Funerals. We don't sell BIs.
Yeah.
If you are not the person, we'll give the family the BI.
Yes.
If you come to us looking, I have friends who have called me looking for BIs. I say, guys,
I can't.
Truly, I can't. And they say, but we want. I say, yeah. Issue is that you are not going to talk because you need it. But
Yes.
at the time that when you get it, you'll be telling them where. Now you have connection. So I usually don't get into that trap. We don't sell BIs.
Yes.
We don't give it to anybody at Baroka. If anybody of Baroka staff can do that, that's a straight dismissal.
Yes, because that's what I wanted to get to. So if you do find out, Guti, this family member was actually successful in getting the BI somehow through the people that agreed to sell this BI, where can you report them? Is there any other action that you can take against them?
No. There's no way where you can report them. It's just for you to deal with your staff member.
No, I'm saying as the family.
Yeah.
Because I got a question that says, there is this aunt of ours who is a Rosemary.
Yeah.
So we've discovered that as a family and we want to stop her. Do we now print out all 4 death certificates? Do we block how do we,
You can't block it. If she end up doing that, that's theft. You report that to the police.
I hope you got that. I hope you got that.
There's no way that, as I'm saying,
Yes.
if a staff member end up doing that at our office and we realize that, that staff member is get out of Baroka for free. Do not
Do not return.
begin. Do not.
No break.
Yeah. So you are gone. You are finished. You are finished.
Yes.
We don't even take you to hearing.
Yes.
That's gone. You are finished.
So then if I now find out that someone has insured me with Baroka, or not just Baroka, an insurer, I think this one's not around the funeral home, but rather the financial product itself, the funeral insurance. So if someone has insured me there and I know this person has, decided to enrich themselves off of me, am I able to call them and cancel and say, and report this to say, I did not give them any consent and I know how this is going to end. Can you cancel that policy because I don't recognize it?
They've assigned you at Baroka. I just want to understand that.
No. I'm saying from an insurance point of view, not just a policy at Baroka.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I then say, Rosemary has insured me. I know she wants to enrich herself. Can you cancel that? I know she's paying for it. I know she took it on my behalf.
But as I'm saying, that is a very serious case. You report that to the police. They'll investigate it.
Even before I pass on, if I know you've insured me, I don't want you to insure me, so I can report it to...
Yeah, you can report it to the police and then we can do that.
But then would they not need proof to say, how do you know she's going to kill you?
Yeah, exactly. How do you want me to? Because if you come to the funeral parlor, you're looking for a weaker part of the scheme. Go to police station because you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because I can investigate whether Rosemary is going to kill you or what. But if you can prove to the police, the police will have authority to say, we can see Rosemary has 50 people and already 3 of them have passed on, and that's a simple case to deal.
Yeah.
But if you come to me, honestly, I'm not even going to listen to you because I don't know.
So from your knowledge, if I go to the financial guys, not particularly the funeral homes, the ones that you've mentioned, if I go there and say, look, Big Green, I see this, I know this person wants to enrich themselves because remember how we define a funeral policy is that it must take over the financial burden, not to enrich yourself. So if I know that this person is going to enrich, can I cancel that policy with them?
Yeah, but the unfortunate part is, again, the type of product that we're having. By right and insurance, somebody has to have an insurable interest.
Yes.
But we have policies that says it's member plus 9 or 15 other people. Honestly, most of the time, we don't have insurable interest.
True.
Yeah, so, and that's what creates a problem.
True.
Your insurable interest would be you, your husband, your
my
parents,
kids, my in-laws,
your sister.
Yes.
You still don't even have insurable interest unless you prove it.
Yes.
Because most of the time you put your sister, and the person who has your sister's insurable interest is the husband and the kids.
As you're explaining this, can you clearly explain, because I know maybe the viewers at home don't know, can you clearly articulate what is an insurable interest?
Yeah. Insurable interest is a person that will affect you financially if this person lives.
Yes.
And that's a simple thing. Truly, your uncle who has his kids and his wife, truly, it's not going to affect you. But we do sign uncle and everybody. And that is why we end up with a Rosemary situation.
Yes.
Because of the product that we have developed. And usually what I do, that product, we love it because I'm going to put myself, my wife, my kids, and my parents, and put all the uncles who are sick.
Yes.
Put them in there.
Yes.
It's a good deal. If I get 20,000, that policy is paid for the rest of its life. And that is why we love that product. But that product, truly, is the one that creates a problem where we move from one underwriter to the other underwriters because it bends. Yeah. It does create a problem.
No, I understand you.
And sometimes what we do, we love that product and we get angry when people do the right product. We love that product because it's cheap, and every time when you talk about it, it's cheap, it's fine.
You get nice
Yeah,
reviews.
but at the end of the day,
Yes.
that particular product destroys the industry.
Ish. I hear you. And I think now, as you've explained, now I understand why you've chosen the model that you've chosen.
Yes.
And then the other question is, hey, Elamans, this is a tough one. No. So there's been a lot of cases where I don't think I even have the right numbers to justify a lot, but there have been cases reported, particularly in the Eastern Cape, where you find that a departed loved one gets lost in a mortuary.
Okay.
How does that even happen?
Okay.
And if they do get lost, where are these bodies?
How? I don't know. It's for the first time I hear that.
Where are these bodies getting taken to? No. It is there. It is there where you see departed loved one, families reporting that I've taken my departed loved one to this funeral home and I got there. They're saying the body's not there. It's missing.
Yeah, but that is, I think it can be a mistake that the funeral parlor had maybe many bodies and they mistakenly.
Do not put them in the right.
Yeah, but a body can't. Can you imagine? Can you imagine such a whole body?
The things. Oh,
Yeah, such a whole body.
the things in this industry will shock you. That Mphahlele.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so the whole body can't get lost. I refuse.
Yeah, it's things that we hear. And then there are these things, because really, I think the one thing
And that goes well with still there. That goes with where people say
They take their loved one.
No, we get there and as funeral parlors, we go and dig the bodies and take the coffin.
Exactly.
Yeah, guys, let's go.
Exactly.
Let's go back to that one.
Yes.
That is wood. When we put it in there, we don't even check the way we throw the soil.
Yes.
Sometimes we throw in brick, stones and all that. By the time we get there, that coffin will be broken.
Exactly.
So it will be expensive for us
Yes.
to do that.
To
And
really
firstly,
fix it.
for me to go open there, I need to take some 4 or 5 drunkard who must go help me to dig there. And every time they'll remember, give me. So please, guys, we don't do that. Okay?
No.
Yeah.
Mr. Mphahlele, you're one of the credible service providers in this country. That is why, of course, we'll never attach that to you. I've never even heard, to be clear, guys, I'm asking this question because a lot of you on TikTok were having these stories. So I want to clear all these misinformed conceptions.
Maybe even the worst guy who's in the funeral business, who's a crook, will never go to the grave
And dig. The cemetery.
Yeah, and dig.
Phew.
Okay? There is another misconception that if
Yes.
somebody wakes up at the funeral parlor, will kill the guys.
Yes, please
all
address
of us,
that.
Yeah,
Please
all of
get
us,
to that.
All of us are scared of dead bodies. So if anybody wakes up, all of us are going to run away. So be rest assured, we don't do that. So every time as your bodies come in there, we
Yes.
pray, hope, and pray. Please don't wake up. If that person ever wakes up, we think that if Jesus is coming to collect us, we all run away. You know, there is a say that everybody wants to die and everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And it's true. All of us, you tell us about death, we are fine, even us, but if anybody wakes up there, we're all going to run away.
That's the thing, because, there is this, I'm not sure if it's a podcast or channel. Every time they speak about funeral services, I get so upset because the only thing that are being said, they never mention the part how you provide this support to the families, how you collect carefully their loved one to take them to your private facility. The loved one, which they are scared of, by the way, because if someone loses a family member now, it doesn't even take them 10 minutes. They want the family member gone.
Yeah.
To them, it's not even their mother anymore. I don't know how they classify it.
And that's what happens to a lot of black people. I see it more especially in the township. In the villages, they do it so well. When somebody passes on, they will get there, clean up the body, and wait for the night, But in the townships, as the heart stops.
They close the room, they leave.
That your mother changes to be your mother, becomes Istumbo, and then everybody's scared. They'll call you 5 times. I mean, as I'm saying, in the villages, they would even want to check if this person has passed on, clean up the body, put the body there on the floor, preserve the body that way.
Yes.
Put it with a sheet. Don't put any hot things, your blankets and all that. Clean up the body, put it on the floor. The floor has good temperature to can preserve. Put the body there. Be sure that this body is okay and check, because you don't want us to wake up. Or you are even scared. Even them, they are scared that the body will wake up and they'll have to run away. But so in the morning, call the mortuary and you are sure that this person has passed on.
Yeah.
And that's how they do it. But as I'm saying, the township, as the heart stops, they just don't want, they are scared. And that's what happened. But it's okay. We will do the job.
True. And, to your point, I also wanted to ask you, who does the family call when, a departed loved one passes on in the house? And of course, this depends on the nature of death. But can you explain which death would need you to call forensic, which one would need you to call a funeral home or, an ambulance to come and, declare the departed loved one?
Yeah. All deaths in South Africa that are unnatural have to go to forensic department. Unnatural is
suicide,
accidental, accident, homicide, all death.
Yeah.
Accident, as a vehicle accident, all those deaths has to go to forensic for pathological analysis. And another death, the unnatural death that happens, that the family are not sure that, in our culture, if I die and you are my wife, they already think that it's you. Yeah. So now, usually such death, they firstly have to report to the police station that they suspect foul play.
And they'll need
then
forensics.
Then forensic will take the body. But there are private forensics that can do, that they charge you. Okay? That is that. Natural death. Then if somebody dies at a hospital, there would be a doctor there who certifies that. If somebody dies at home, usually families will call an ambulance, and the ambulance will come there and say, okay, we think the person has died, passed on, and then we'll come as a mortuary. But as a mortuary, again, we need a doctor to confirm. People who can confirm death in South Africa are doctors.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because then it ties back to your point to say there would never be an instance where your loved one wakes up at the mortuary because the doctor did declare this person, dead. So we make sure that this person, not make sure, because then they would say, okay, well, you were saying you have a hand in making sure. No, it means that the doctor would have made sure and declared from a medical perspective, of course, and then you then take over the process.
Yeah. Even paramedics come in there, they look at the body and say it's dead. But paramedics cannot sign on a notice of death to certify that this person passed on. The only person in South Africa is somebody who's a medical practitioner, who's a doctor, who can certify that somebody has passed on.
Thank you for that. And then it brings me to the next question, because that's where you now start getting involved and start with, helping the family with the funeral itself. How involved are funeral homes in that process? What are the things that customers should expect, or the role that customers would expect you play there? I understand it would be the pickup. What sort of activities logistically?
What we do with us, and that is such a difficult thing. At Baroka, we always say, tell us what you want.
Yeah.
We will do it for you. Anything. If you want your body in a chopper, we'll put it in a chopper.
Levels, Kesan.
Yeah, if you want a body, so we will do anything.
Yes.
We'll go there, go to the graveyard, book a grave for you. All things that you need to pay, we'll tell you and confirm it with you before you do that. But as I'm saying, we do a 10-key service for you. starting from collecting a body up to the day of interment of the body into the grave.
Wow. And it gives a big comfort to know that there'll be someone there holding your hand and making this process quite easier. And then how do you handle on your end complaints where the family feels like the service was not done in a manner that they would have loved or wanted, or they felt like maybe your staff was rude or anything like that? Is there a channel for them to communicate that?
We have, and this is what we do at our funeral parlor. All funerals have a WhatsApp group. And the reason that we did that is that sometimes people come and have a problem with a lady who does the service.
Yeah.
They tell her, this is what happened. If they tell her, most of the time as a human being, if you are wrong, you'll never report yourself to your boss. You want to hide that.
True.
And they come again, they have this problem, they have this problem. By the time it's Friday, they have a lot of problems, even when they come, at the time when they come with a genuine problem. Or not even maybe to use that. When they, on Friday, when there is another problem, then they already have a list of problems.
Instead of addressing it early.
Yeah. So now, with us, we have a WhatsApp group. Everybody, family members and us are in there. At any given point, if there is a problem, we pick it up there and deal with it immediately. As I said, it's sometimes you get families where this one says, no, talk to me, and decide to change things without others. By the time you get to the family, things are changed, and this one no longer want to take, and this one who said that no longer want to take responsibility.
Yes.
So, but now we centralize communication. Communication is done with one communication system. Anything that needs to be changed in there. If it's not changed in there, we can't do it. If somebody says to you, no, it's my policy, do it this way. We truly accept that it's your policy, but say it in the group so as everybody can know. Then that helps us to be able to deal with that.
True. And I like how you're dealing with it, because communication breakdown is actually a part where, that affects the entire program. And because there are a lot of voices speaking, now you listen to this one and that one. So when you bring them all together, you're able to get that one voice.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, that we're not only speaking just about the business of it, but also about the value that funeral homes bring to the community. I understand that you've got a staff capacity of over 150.
We're at 122.
122. And that's, you've created meaningful jobs to the society. What sort of careers would you advise the youth to get into if they want to be part of this, of the space?
Yeah. At Baroka, as I said, we have 122. And of the 122, average age at Baroka is 29. So you can imagine it's young people.
It's young people.
It's young people. We have created a business that kids see future in there.
Yes.
A lot of our kids who get in there, they come in there, and a lot of them, when they talk, they will tell you that we have thrown away our CVs. We no longer want to go anywhere.
At all.
Because we have created a space
I get you.
where they see that this is truly a job. This is truly a future. And as I said, a lot of them are young. We encourage them to go to school. And one of the things that we do, we say to them, you pay your fees. If you pass, we will pay it. And again, you don't pay your fees at the end of the year. We need to see you paying them every month.
Yeah.
So as you must feel the pain.
Yeah. And you see the value.
And you have to pass.
Yeah.
But now if then you do it year end, then you don't see that value. You can go borrow 10,000 at Capitec today, pay it, and then you don't see the value. But somebody needs to go through that. Every month we commit. We want to see you committing to paying your fees every month. You must feel that void. So you must feel that pain of, then you want to study.
To make sure.
And make sure that you do that. Career-wise, I mean, we have finance department. We have morticians. We have people who are dealing with events. I mean, a funeral is an event.
It's an event,
Yeah,
yes.
so we get there. We have salespeople in there. And as I said, all of them, all the young ones. And we're doing this for the young ones to go to school, reason being that, and maybe I'm doing it selfishly. I'm 52 this year. In the next 15 years, honestly, I'm going on pension. And I
doubt you will, but...
yeah, I need to see this Baroka being able to
Yeah.
take care of me
Yeah.
at that time. So now you need to empower people. You need to get these kids going to school. And a lot of people will ask and say, hey, but you take them to school, what if they leave? It's true, what if they leave? Then they go for a better thing. But what if they stay?
And they're not
Can
skilled
you
and they're
imagine?
frustrating
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So you are stuck with this person
Yeah.
who's 29, who's going to be in that company for another 35 years,
Become a liability.
unskilled.
True.
So if they go, that's okay. But one thing about us at Baroka, and I always tell these kids, they're just not numbers.
True.
I know each one of them.
True.
I know each one of them who have kids, what their kids do, and it is important to me to know that they're just not numbers. I was saying to one of them who says, no, Mina, if I get money somewhere, I'm going. I said, that's okay.
You can
but
go.
we'll always keep your space here because you have to come back.
Yeah.
Because there, you're just a number. There are kids who never had fathers to take care of them. When they talk to me, they see me as a father.
True. And he's not lying at all. I remember he was in a call.
Okay, let's hear.
Yes. So he was talking to one of his staff and he says, no, I've already organized a dress for your child. Why are you busy stressing and running around? And this was for a matric dance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's quite commendable what
so
you do for seeing people as people.
That's what we do. We have such a responsibility at Baroka to see to it that people are okay.
Nah, kids, after this episode, you're going to have 50,000 CVs at your doorsteps. I hope you're ready for it. And then in closing, what sort of advice would you give to someone who wants to, looks up to you, wants to get into the space, wants to go into the funeral business?
Yeah. I'm doing this, and people usually ask, how did you end up into the funeral business? Did you love it? It wasn't love. I had a responsibility. I have a wife and kids that I needed to take care of them. I've done a lot of businesses, but I ended up here because at the end of the day, I ended up finding fulfillment. It feels good on a Monday when a family says thank you.
True.
You've done a good job.
True.
Then it gives you a reason to go to the next week. So I didn't love the funeral business. I ended up there, but I'm loving it now.
It shows.
Yeah, I'm loving it now.
It shows.
Yes,
thank you so much for coming through. One quick silly question. Do you also knock when you get to your mortuary?
What do you mean
Do you knock on the doors? Apparently, there's a thing that when you get inside the cold rooms, you need to knock or else.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, I will try that. I'll try knocking. Maybe that is why I've not been making good business. So I'll try knocking. I'll start knocking.
But don't respect about because they might be busy
I need to,
having a caucus.
okay. I didn't know that part. Also, when I get into the cold room, I need to
Yes.
knock. Okay.
Don't invade other people's privacy.
Now I know.
But overall, thank you so much for honoring this interview. We do wish you growth and success, and we are seeing it. Of course, I hope that people watching did see the value and they did see Baroka for what it is, and you, because most importantly, you don't do so many interviews, right? You are always busy.
I'm a worker. I mean, when you work at Baroka, you can't be, as I'm saying, we're supposed to bring our COO to come here. Me, I'm just a general.
4 hours because Mr. Litamo can talk.
Yeah, so he's the one who's supposed to talk. Me, I'm a worker, Yeah, so I work at Baroka.
Yeah, no, your humbleness is really empowering.
But thank you so much for giving us a space to talk to your audience. As I said, to us, I wouldn't say it's a calling. To us, it's something that we love.
Yeah.
And we'll always do it right. And as I said, we are Baroka Funerals. We do bury nationwide. And at any given point, we respect our people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us for this session. And as I always say, Mosadi ki policy, and in this case, ki policy, ya Baroka.
Thank you.
And yes, please do connect to Let's Talk Death Care with Tabi on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share this information. It's about time that people who are in the space share this valuable information so that you know all the ins and outs and all the questions that you've been having, bringing you the answers right here from the experts themselves. Thank you. Till next time.